you had to be able to get into amps and stuff and this, that and the other and get yourself from gig to gig because it never paid. So it was a case of burning the candle at both ends. And I nearly killed myself when I fell asleep at the wheel because I was doing too much of that, you know, playing at night, sleeping maybe 4 hours and getting up in the morning. And I fell asleep about 3 o'clock in the morning and drove into a lamppost, and I thought, well, you know, I've got to make a decision on one or the other here.
Every time you go,
Do you think it takes a certain amount of naivety at the start to make it seem that it really is possible?
Yeah, I think so. You have to retain a certain amount of faith that people like what you do, and otherwise you'd end up not doing anything. You know, so you just have to hope. Really, you think, well, I'm going to do this, and hopefully it'll work. Mm-hmm. So you have to retain a bit of that naivety. I think that's why musicians are all kids, and they say that probably every musician's school report said immature on it, you know, because you're growing up slower than everybody else.
You started off in your really early days with it in bands, but it was only when you went solo that you... Well, I mean, you had a fair amount of success in bands.
We've been notorious as opposed to famous. Yeah.
But what made you decide to go it alone?
The Q-Tips was the soul band that was coming to the end of its life, and we couldn't get a deal. There were too many of us, so record companies didn't really relish the prospect.
But it really didn't take long when you first signed your solo deal to CBS and stuff. It didn't take you long to gain some real momentum.
It seems quite quick now, but I suppose it seemed like a long time back then.
don't you know that
I think I got the deal in '82.
Right.
And I was working on the project because the first thing I did was a bit of a surprise to the record company because they'd signed me as a soul singer, and the first idea for a project was get someone like, in fact it was Elvis Costello, was a choice, you know, and Nick Lowe, to get a soul band behind me to do an R&B album. And I went, oh no, I don't want to do that. I've been doing that for 4 years, you know. So they got this artist that they'd signed, and they go, well, what do you want to do then? So I kind of went in, and they limited me to 3 tracks. And I went in and started thinking, right, now I've done that, you know, that's my base, my roots. Now I need to look at everything else I'm buying and listening to and try and pull some stuff in and make kind of soul music, kind of give it a new face, really.
Do you look back on it and with kind of fondly, does it seem as exciting now as it did at the time? Do you look back and go, yeah, that was great? Or
yeah, I think so. You know, there were probably bad spots, but I think, you know, when you set yourself a task to climb a mountain, the 5 years later, all you remember is, well, I got to the top, you know. You don't remember what happened, all the terrible things on the way. So I just remember all of that as being good times, and the Q-Tips, they were fantastic times, you know. I don't remember any down parts, really.